6 people whose retirement savings grew, in some cases by a lot, after retirement. So, how did they do it? How did they do it, guys? These 6 people employed various different methods in order to grow their retirement savings. A couple are pretty interesting. Leave me some comments, guys. How have you done since retirement? Has your savings gone up or gone down? Up or down? Because usually you think of retirement savings as, you spend it down, right? As you go through the years of retirement, you spend it down. A lot of us hope to have enough to last through the whole retirement. So how do these people do it? You've also got to, a lot of it depends on market timing. Not like timing the stock market, but when did you retire? If you retired into a good market, you're looking pretty good. Like me, if you retired into a bad market, sequence of returns risk can kill you. I'm 3 years in and I'm just now getting back to where I started. So here we go. Number 1, and I apologize, I'll be going like this because I got to read a lot of this stuff. Number 1, here's a man who retired at 56 and his balance has doubled in 13 years. Doubled. Okay, I would take that in a heartbeat. So what did he do? He employed a low withdrawal rate to let his 401k grow. Okay, I go by the 4% rule. All right. This guy sounds like he was like a lot lower than that. If you can employ a 3% withdrawal rate, man, you're looking good. They didn't give the exact number, but you're looking good. Your retirement can't help growing unless you have an extremely bad market if you do that. What's another thing he did? He started Social Security at 62, and he uses his Social Security for his spending money. So he's not really even touching his nest egg unless it's for like emergencies or something. His monthly expenses are being covered by his Social Security. Interesting strategy, right? Also, he downsized his house. They sold their main house. They bought a much smaller house for cash. What do you got there? You got no mortgage. You got lower utilities, probably lower property tax values too. So those are pretty, pretty good strategies there for allowing your money to grow in retirement, which is what we all want, right? If you can employ a low withdrawal rate, you're on your way to doing that. Hey, for those of you who see me for the first time, my name is Duane. This is a channel on retiring on moderate income. If you think you might like that, think about subscribing and like the video as well. And if you really like it, down here, you can buy me a coffee. Number 2, and these are all men. I was trying to get an example of a woman, but I couldn't. So, yeah, sorry. Sorry, women. Number 2, this man retired, and 9 years later, his nest egg is at an all-time high. Okay, so the first story, we got 13 years. Second story, we got 9 years. Those are significant amount of time. It would be different if it's like, okay, I retired, and okay, a year later, I'm up. Yeah, not that much time to really judge if you're doing well or not, right? So this guy, his nest egg is at an all-time high 9 years in. He does not spend extravagantly. He lives below his means. Okay, so again, it's kind of similar to the low withdrawal rate. It doesn't say if he's withdrawing or if he's just on Social Security. Now here's another strategy he employed that I wouldn't recommend, but I'm conservative, financially conservative. He has invested 90% in stocks. When you're retired, to be invested 90% in stocks? Yikes, I couldn't sleep at night. But those of you who are not, if your risk tolerance is pretty high, hey, it's working out for this guy. But obviously what you got to guard against, what happens if you're in a really bad market? Those savings are going to go boo. If you can handle the ups and downs of the stock market and you're like 67, go for it, I guess. I can't do it. I can't. Number 3, this man retired in 2021, just like me. Soon thereafter, the market crashed, just like what happened to me. Sequence of returns risk. Now, what this guy did is something I never considered. Well, I considered it, but I never thought I would do it. He went back to full-time work because his portfolio was just tanking, like mine did. He went back to full-time work for a full year. Then he retired again. So for him, it worked out because now his funds are higher than they ever were before. Makes sense, right? You go back to work, make some money. Maybe he was in a well-paying job and it just, boom, really like took off in his retirement savings account. Doesn't give the amount that he had in there. It's a strategy. If you really feel you need to do that, do it. I'm not here to tell you don't, okay? I'm doing what I'm doing on side hustles, part-time income. Fine, that works with me. If you're not comfortable with that, if you are really nervous about your funds, say a year and a half into retirement, go back to full-time work. Who's telling you you can't? You do you, guys. You do whatever works for you. Here is a man whose net worth has increased since he retired 5 years ago. Okay, 5 years, yeah, it's right on that cusp. It's a long enough time, okay? Not like 20 years, but we can deal with that. So his net worth has increased since he retired 5 years ago. Now this is similar to example number 1. He is employing a withdrawal rate of 3%. Now the 4% rule, which is what I use, is the worst case scenario of what you can withdraw that would last you 30 years, okay? The worst case. In all their examples in all the data going back past the year 1900, the 4% rule worked every single time, okay? Every single time. So 4% is a worst case. This guy's doing 3% withdrawal. That's how his money is growing. He also employs a 60-40 portfolio, he started off 5 years ago at a 70-30 portfolio, and it is now down to 60-40 portfolio as he gets older. He's comfortable with that. He says that he's going to stick with that 60-40 throughout retirement. If you're going to do the 4% rule, or in his case, 3%, you need to have at least 50%, hopefully 55 and above stocks in your portfolio to make that work. Because if you've got all bonds, let's say 70% bonds, your money will not work for you enough to be able to employ that 4% rule, okay? So he's comfortable with 60-40. He says when he starts taking Social Security, this will just be gravy. Must be nice, right? I'd love to have my Social Security just gravy for me on top. I don't even need it. Nice. Number 5. Here is a man whose savings has grown each year. Okay, maybe I lied. It doesn't say how long this guy has been retired. Okay, let's hope it's been like 5 years plus. His house and his new car are paid for. No loans at all. He saves money each month from his pension. Okay, he's one of the lucky ones that has a pension. So he's got retirement savings and a pension. And it looks like no debt at all. If you have a pension, guys, and you have retirement savings on top of that, you're looking pretty good. That is a perfect example of how your money can grow after you retire. So you're not going to have to die with zero, like that book. And number 6, here is a man whose net worth has doubled in 6 years. Not bad, right? Now, net worth is not just retirement savings. It also includes everything else, all your other assets, your house, if you own a business. Net worth, all assets minus all liabilities. So his net worth has doubled in 6 years. Not bad. Okay, now this is another strategy that if you have this in your toolbox, your retirement toolbox, I think you'll be looking pretty good. He has 2 rental properties, which the rent from that covers most of his spending. Great. Ideal, right? Now, obviously, if you're a landlord, I was a landlord once. I had a duplex 25 years ago, and I had a renter for about 2 years. Okay, there are hassles that come with that. Issues with the renter, upkeep on everything. You know, there's always going to be issues that come up as a landlord. So, you know, there are issues, but if you've got 2 rental properties and the rent from that is covering most of your spending, yeah, I think your nest egg is going to go up. He is also relocated to a cheaper country. Doesn't say what country, but a cheaper country to live than the United States. So there you go, guys. There are 6 people whose retirement savings are going boom after they retired, with a lot of different strategies there. So think about some of that. You know, for those of you that haven't retired yet, or even the ones that have, it's a good way to make your money grow. And as always, from the lovely high desert, we got this.